Okay, a penny for Brecht, week 3. We did not do as much devising this week. A lot more editing, a lot more cutting, exploring what we already have, which is really good because at the end of week 2 we had 2.5 hours of material. So this has been a really helpful week to sort of figure out what's going on with our characters and just smooth out the plot a lot more. We talked more about Marxism, more about economics, more about the Weimar Republic. And the book that I read was John Gay's The Beggar's Opera and his sequel, Polly. So I thought that this would be really interesting to read Polly, because that's my character. But it was super boring and not at all informative. For this week at least. Maybe down the road I'll see some more connections, but first of all, I have gained a much better appreciation for Brecht's threepenny novel and opera because The Beggar's Opera by John Gay is just horrendous. It is just so bad. Um, it just treats women so terribly, and all the women are constantly being called sorry sluts and whores and hussies, and the real names are hardly ever used. They're pretty much just always called, like, harlot. And Polly gets the worst treatment of all, and especially from her mother, who just says the most terrible things to her. Her parents are much more adamant in this version that she was wrong to marry McKeith at all, because she should have saved herself so that they could sell her off to a more rich man, and they basically don't care anything about her body or her purity or her emotions or anything. They're just like, you gave away our money too easily. You gave away your dowry too easily, rather than yourself too easily, so it just is really bad. And then Polly was just like a weird play. So, in this, McKeith is believed to be dead, and Polly is like looking for him because she's not sure if he is dead, and she's in the Indies. I actually think they're in the Caribbean, not India, but it's just very weird because they're just so terrible to the natives. So she goes looking for him, and she ends up losing all her money on the way, and she gets, like, sold by a madam to this guy to be, like, his sex slave, basically. And then she dresses up as a man to escape. So that's, like, the most interesting thing, is that she decides to dress as a boy. And, like, that's pretty cool, because she gives herself some agency by doing that. It's just unfortunate that she can't have any agency as a woman. So, come to find out, McKeith is on the island, and he's with Pirate Jenny. They've escaped their own form of slavery, and they're, like, partners and, like, kind of married. But McKeith is also dressing as a black guy, so I would assume that on stage this would be a white man in blackface, which is another level of just, like, heinous things. Polly is trying to find them. She doesn't recognize McKeith because he's black. Jenny likes her. They make out for a while, which would be interesting to see. And that's, like, the only thing that would be interesting, because all the rest is just, like, really bad. McKeith and his men, which they want to commit mutiny because they think that he's a terrible leader because he's in love with Jenny. And they're like, you can't love a woman and lead men at the same time. It's very weird. So they fight the natives, they fight the Indians, and they take a prince captive. And they put him with Polly. And then she helps him escape and takes him back to the chief native, or the king, he's called. And now they're all indebted to her, and the prince is like, you will be like my blood brother, and the king is like, you can have anything that you want. And then she's like, I mean, like, I'm poor, but money's not gonna help, because money's dumb. So that's interesting. And then they also capture McKeith in this fight, and then they sentence him to death, and then Jenny comes in, and she's like, no, don't kill him, like, that's not Morano, like, that's the name he was going by. That's not him, that's McKeith. And then Polly is like, no, that's McKeith, like, that's my husband. But it's too late, he's dead, which is, like, the best part of the play, is that he dies. It's fantastic. But it's too late, and then she's like, I'm a woman, and the only thing I wanted was, like, my husband back, and now you've just killed him. So then the prince native is like, oh, no, you're a woman, now I'm so confused, because my love for you as a brother is now, like, so weird, because you're a woman, and now I, like, want you to be my princess, and everything, so she ends up marrying him and becoming a princess, and Jenny goes back to slavery. So, like, Polly wins out in the end. And I guess that's pretty cool, because, like, she dressed as a dude and, like, participated in a battle, and her terrible husband got it. But I don't think it's going to inform my performance at all. So, the rest of this week has been pretty interesting. We've worked a lot more on music, which has been good. And we've worked a bit more on the wedding, and just the trial was a big thing that we worked on. Did a lot of that. So, just a lot more stuff. Alright, more to come.